Hello everyone again. I'm out quadding today towards the end of February here and around the Nanaimo area on Vancouver Island, and I discovered an old logging trail. You can just see down here it's an old abandoned. It's all grown in by probably 50 or between 40 and 60 years of tree growth here. Some of the trees are quite a bit larger than the others, but anyway, discovered something quite interesting. Just caught the corner of my eye, and I did haul all these pieces out, but it started with a bit of a shine from this old bumper, and it was all sitting in this little gully here, right in between the trees, just right down in this area here, and just off of the logging road. So I think what happened was someone was booting around here many years ago, lost control, went down the embankment, destroyed the car, wedged it or whatever, and left it there. And so I started picking all this stuff out of here. Started with an old bumper, wraparound, chromed. Chrome is all peeling off of it, and initially I thought it was an old Volkswagen or something, but it isn't. And so continued digging stuff out. Next thing I dug was this front fender, and has an interesting cutout on it, kind of an oblong shape or oval shape, so the oval is sideways, so it's a short hood, thinking that it's either Italian or British. And then I dug out the left side. So anyway, as I'm looking in here, it would have gone in nose in that way, so that's the left side. So I basically just spun it around 180 degrees so it's facing back out from the way it originally came. So anyway, there's that, and that end is pretty crumpled, so he hit the lower trees with the right hand, one of the trees on the right hand side of the car. And I'm pulling out more stuff, and then I got this hood, and the old hood still has the old hinge pin on the back, and I think most European cars had hinge pins. I know my old British Roots cars, my Sunbeams, they had the hinge pins on the trunk, but this one fits the front. So anyway, I'm pulling all this stuff out, and then I get a chunk of an old firewall, or what's left of it, some side rails, and some old body panel, and there's part of the rear wheel arch, the inside wheel arch, part of the trunk, this here, and coming down to frame for the trunk, and that's all that was left out of this car. So it's going to be a small two-seater, and we're just looking back on it like that. And so whatever it was an old two-seater, probably a little convertible, and the engine, I don't have a shovel or anything, but it's most likely sunk like maybe a yard down into this boggy, marshy, wet slop here, and not interested in digging that out. But I did find the old starter and an oil bath air filter. So you've got the outflow going in towards the engine, so the air gets sucked in through here and also down at the top and out through that area. So anyway, that's the oil filter. And I looked around for some information on this, but again, it's just too corroded to see if there's any stamp or anything on this. It's just a one giant lump of rust, and that's all that was left of what I could pull out of that little boggy area. So judging by what this is, originally it was a cream colored car, and that's the original color here, and British and Italian cars were predominantly that color, maybe some Eastern European cars, and judging by the looks of it, it was probably an old 50s or early 60s vintage, and someone painted it this burgundy color, and the burgundy is the only thing that has really preserved it. and they did a homemade racing flame job, so I can just see it go off, and there's another flame traveling down that side, and a little bit off the headlight on the hood, and go over to the passenger side fender, and you see another gold flame going up. So it was a burgundy car with a flame job, and someone was probably racing on the old logging road at that time. Probably, judging by the amount of rust and corrosion and what's left here, they probably dumped the car about probably in the 50s or the 60s by the style of that paint job, and just couldn't get it out and just abandoned it there, and it's been sitting there for the last 50 or 60 years and just corroding and decomposing into next to nothing, and that's all that's left out of this old car. Just dug out of the ditch and finally facing the direction in which it came out originally, and hoping one day it'll get back home. But anyway, it won't. Just thought I'd show you that. I find it rather interesting, and again, I've been quadding here for quite a while, and I've never seen it before, and I've been through here dozens of times, and all of a sudden you discover something interesting. Anyway, have a great day. Bye.